And people in the path of Hurricane Harvey are already seeing price gouging. Officials in Texas report some retailers and gas stations are selling cases of water for up to $99. Can you believe that? It's against the law in Texas for retailers to hike prices of essential items during a disaster. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton joins me now. So glad that you're here with us to talk about this. Welcome to you, sir.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And thanks for bringing up this issue. It's very important to my constituents.
Absolutely. And, you know, I do want to mention there is so much good that we see come from communities when they are hit so hard. But this does seem to be an unfortunate result in some places when people see that opportunity to profit. So how exactly do you stop it?
Well, so we have on our website a call-in number. We also, our website, you can report it. We've had over 200 complaints, and so we're fortunate with technology today. People can send in pictures, they can, email us, and so we're out looking at the ones we've gotten, and that's how we know about the $42, case of water and the $99 case of water. It's because of people letting us know, and we appreciate people letting us know because that's really the way we can get our job done.
And then what are the penalties for people who are doing this?
They're fairly stiff, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. It's $20,000 per occurrence, and if you do this to somebody over 65, it's $250,000 per occurrence, up to. So, I don't think a lot of people are aware of the penalties, and part of what we want to do is let people know, hey, if you do this, there could be some fairly stiff penalties.
Now, you mentioned that website. I imagine you're getting calls, too. What are you hearing about how people are gouging hurricane victims at this point? The stories about the water. We've been hearing some stories about gas prices, but what are some other scenarios that you're hearing?
In the past, one of the big problems we've had is hotels jacking up prices significantly because gouging is typically for us anything more than 10% of the normal market rate over the last 3 months. So, anything that's beyond that, we're going to look at it. If people report it to us, we're going to look at it.
You mentioned, and we've been talking about the power outages and the phone lines down, and then you talked about how people should go online and report this stuff and upload photos. A lot of people aren't going to be able to do that immediately. They will be maybe in the coming days. So how are you able to get the word out to them? Do you have teams on the ground? Do you have people going up and down the streets looking to see if this is happening?
Well, people, although there's some that don't have communications, we are getting a lot of phone calls. I've got an entire staff over at my office taking phone calls. They're working right now. So while the system's not perfect given the lack of communication in some places, so far it's working pretty well, and we're not going to quit working. We're assuming that as communications get back up, we'll get more communication from people that have seen or have had problems with gouging.
And so at this point, how can the good people of Texas protect themselves? Everybody that is in this path of destruction and is now going to be dealing with the flooding and all that that's going to bring. How do people protect themselves when they're going to come across something that they may really need?
I think part of the solution here is I think a lot of these retailers are trying to do the right thing, and as their supply chain gets picked back up over the next couple of days, they'll be providing some of the resources. We also have teams on the ground in some of the top 25 affected counties. There are rescue squads that are bringing in supplies. So as we have had more time, we've been able to supply more of the areas with some of those necessary supplies, and I think as time goes on, you'll see more of that done.
Do you have a direct message, perhaps, for those hiking prices right now? And if they're watching or listening to us on satellite radio and thinking about making a buck, do you have something that you would like to say to them?
I guess what I'd like to say is, when people are suffering, this is not the right time to take advantage of people. The time to do that was in normal times. If you want to make a profit, that's fine, but don't be unreasonable when people are in need of some necessary things. And if you do it, it's very likely we're going to find out about it, and we're going to pursue you, whether it's now or in a week or in a month.
I want you to give me those numbers one more time in case anybody missed it. What are the penalties again? They're very, very steep.
It's $20,000, up to $20,000 per occurrence, and if you do this to somebody that's over 65, you could be penalized up to $250,000 per occurrence. So obviously those are dramatic penalties, and I would assume people making a profit, this is going to take the profit out of what they're doing.
Sure. Absolutely. All right. Well, Ken Paxton, thank you so much for being with us. We wish you all the best in your state.
And please, thank you for covering this. Thank you for covering this important issue. It matters to the people of the state.
Absolutely. And please keep us informed how this goes on, okay?
We'll do it. Thank you.
All right. Ken Paxton, thank you.